Welcome back. So today, who I have with me is David LEIFESTE. This is my personal therapist, the person that we didn't talk about HIPAA before this. The person that I share a lot of intimate details in my life, and there's a lot of things, places and energy. I've had tears in there in that room of that special place that you hold court for me. And so what I wanted to do in this effort to try to bring really cool healthcare practitioners to have a conversation, I get to have really cool conversations. This guy has had more conversations than anybody I know. And he's had more conversations than anybody I know with more successful people than anybody that I know. And so if you can stack around a bunch of wisdom and you can be around wisdom, that's what I want to do. That's what I'm trying to do at this stage in my life. And so that's why this gentleman is in my life. And so for the past, since before I turned 40, he helped me work through some things. I had some issues that 40 was hard for me. So for the past, I thought about it. It's been about 3 good years that you and I have been consistently meeting. I've also thought about that we have met almost 40 times together. So we've shared 40 times about an hour and a half to 2 hours together. So I don't know if you knew all that. So for me, thank you for being here. Please don't share any of my intimate details but at the honest truth, this man is very, very special to me. And so I just wanted to have a conversation about how he's helped me in my life. And I bet you in the next 15 to 20 minutes, he's going to drop a little bit of knowledge base to help you.
Well, it's incredibly honoring to be asked to be here with you today, especially to share that we've been working together. And that's oftentimes a very private thing.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't tell people when they're seeing someone. And I've always admired your courage and your confidence to just let people know that we talk. That oftentimes people won't tell people that they talk to folks like me. So first of all, when it's a strong, handsome, very successful man doing that, you're helping people that are oftentimes reluctant to ask for help, which are other men. Realize it's not a bad thing. And obviously it's something that can really be helpful. So thank you for doing that for all of us guys out here that sometimes feel like asking for help means you're weak. Or that something's wrong with you, that you don't know it all yourself. So that's led a lot of men to end their lives early. It's led a lot of men to become addicted to substance because they had so much angst and they didn't know how to cope effectively. And they also felt like it was not comfortable to become seen and known by asking someone to look in and help them look around and try to understand them with someone else. So your courage and your role model of that is a beautiful thing, and I appreciate it on behalf of all the men of the world who know you and are hearing us talk. So that's incredible.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
I think it's important that you know this, at my 40th year, it was an expression of my true authentic self as much as I could be. And I'm happy. We've worked through stuff. There's practices and there's techniques that I've learned that I still employ today. Just this week, I should have made him pay for that. Now, I gave your 10,000 foot up view of the big whiteboard that you said you're too erratic. You need to put everything in boxes, right? And I gave that away. And there's just so many jewels that you are able to drop and understand and hear and then pick apart. If you don't know me or you've never talked to me, verbal processor. Got to work through all the things. That's why this format is decent for me to be in. But what he does is he listens and then says, what I heard you say was this. And it helps you explore. And I think that if you're looking to explore within yourself, having somebody that's listening intently to pick apart those keys, it's worth its weight in gold. And it shouldn't be a secret. It shouldn't be something like you're diving in to find out more.
Well, what I was hearing you get to there a moment ago,
exactly what I'm saying,
was that as you, many of us do really need to speak to come to know. don't know what the percentage of verbal processing versus other, but I feel like most of us, if we start talking, will be thinking differently. We'll know and have more consciousness of things as we language what we do know, even if what we don't know. Even saying what I don't know helps me get more clear about maybe what else I do know. So anyway, one thing I was going to say about what you talk about is sometimes your narrative was inaccurate about yourself. So as you thought you understood your problem, right? This is what is common for many of us. We work off of that premise. Right. And so as you would tell me that, I oftentimes would say, could we look at it this way? Let me reframe that, because this is kind of really what I'm hearing is really going on underneath that. And then we now would get that pivoted an angle differently onto something that, like if it was in your chiropractic work, we'd get to the area actually where the source of the pain really was coming from.
Sure.
Someone probably comes in and goes, oh, I have a shoulder problem.
Right.
And you go, no, you've got I don't know what you got. What would you have?
Usually it's a neck problem.
A neck problem. Okay. Right. But if I told you, oh, it's my shoulder and you need to fix my shoulder, Matt.
Yeah.
You say, well, let me give you a little anatomy lesson, David. That's connected to this, which is connected to this. And if we do this, this will do this, and this will open this up. Well, a lot of times it's the same thing with what we think we understand our problem is in life, whatever that is. And then we have a narrative about it. And then we have a story. And then we have a bunch of emotions attached to the story.
Yep.
And then oftentimes we're off on all the tangents that come from that being incorrect. And so a lot of times my job is just to hear what you think you know, reframe it, help you get a more accurate understanding of really what you're dealing with. And then we actually have an outcome because we're dealing with the core problem, actually accurately, right? So getting your story straight.
What's the science behind like the feeling that you get after you get your story straight? Because my wife's name is Claire, and I jump on the phone like before I get out of your parking lot, and I have a big truck, so it takes me like a couple times to get back and forth. And I'll call her, and she's like, "Wow, you sound different." What is that the perspective shift, or is it that? Because I know that I go in. I mean, I've seen it before, and I know some of your clients that will go in or go out, and then there's the change there. It's a perspective change, or is it? Is there a chemical release? What's the science? What is that?
Well, I do think when the brain gets the diagnosis or gets the understanding accurately established that the neurotransmitters, the electrical system, everything goes into alignment. And therefore, there's a sense of peace. There's when alignment happens, right? There's a sense of relief. There's a lightness, and there's a dopamine release. And so when I'm done with a client, I will say, so how did we do? And they'll say, oh, I feel so much better. Yeah. So I said, well, so it was as good for you as it was for me.
Yeah.
You have a cigarette. So anyway, but the thing is that you will physiologically have a change neurochemically and therefore in the muscles, in the body that will say, I've actually hit the point, the spot, the part that I needed to get understood more accurately. And so, for example, your 40 thing was such a big deal to you when you turned 40. Yeah. Your story about that, about expectations, what you decided with your goals. Matt is a very, very driven, achievement-oriented. His probably biggest superpower is that he's always about self-actualization. It's how to get the most out of himself, how to grow, develop, cultivate everything that's in you. And you are restless and relentless in your pursuit of cultivating you, right? And getting your potential actualized. Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it was that top part of the pyramid. Yeah. You're past this, you're past security, past belonging, past this. Like, let's kick butt and open up everything we've got, all the cylinders, and let's see where we can go.
Sure. Right.
And there's a lot of places for you to go in life. And whether you're going to Tony Robbins to figure it out, right? Or whether you're going to some kind of breath work, whether you're doing some more cold plunges, whether you're doing another hot
sweat lodge,
or your psychotherapy or your life coaching or your training with a trainer, you're working to optimize every part of you to get the most out of yourself and to actualize yourself and to fulfill what I believe in you as your destiny. When you hit 40, you had established all these things that needed to happen by 40. You had a story about your father. You had a story about this. You had a story about this. Everything was attached to 4 and an O. 4-0. Right? And a couple of those things weren't quite there yet. The way you did the math.
Yeah.
Remember how you did the math?
Yeah, I do. I didn't have my Ferrari yet. Is what the problem was.
Yeah. And so when we reappraised what you had accomplished, and then we revalued and reevaluated it, right?
Yes.
It was beyond what you had even thought you could do by 40, right? And we also thought about the fact that really we added qualitative to quantitative. So much as a male in Western culture, in medicine, with a lot of dudes that you combine yourself with other leaders who are very, very successful. Most of the way y'all been assessing your success has been quantitatively.
Absolutely.
Right? It's been your toys and your acquisitions and your money.
Yeah.
Right? And but we talked about the other part of you that is very, very soulful, and that the money does not really hit the spot, doesn't really kind of fulfill you in that way. And so we recognized and we kind of opened up the right brain qualitative side as a metric to use in the ledger of how you assess your success.
Yes.
And we said, we're talking about which things are actually meaningful and purpose driven that really, I think, are at the core of who you are. And I even took apart your name and I called part of you Matthew, that soulful part, and Matt, the businessman.
Yeah.
And we talked about how we take that businessman driven Western achiever and the soulful Matthew and have them learn to get along and figure out who's going to listen to whom when.
Right.
And you started working out a partnership and decided, I think, to give Matthew, the soulful guy that was more about meaning and purpose and giving back, give him more credence and more power and more authority. Although you're still recognizing that it takes Matt to pay the bills, take care of the employees and the patients and your family. And they have to work together well. They're both super important. And I thought that was a really cool way to reassess how you evaluate your achieving.
And so I'm 42, like last week. It's probably why we're talking about it. So it's been 2 years since we've done that. And I will say that in those 2 years is when...
Was that too private to share?
No, it's fine.
Okay. They can take out anything they don't like.
But in the past 2 years, that creation and realization of the softer side and understanding and accepting them has allowed the transition and the happiness for and really some healing other than just by the chiropractic adjustment for a whole lot of other people, because I showed up as that person that was Matthew and soft and not always as the business, let's go. And so I thank you by proxy to all the people that I touch and have a conversation with, because allowing me to show up in that place allows for people to get a different type of a experience. I would say it's an adjustment, but I don't know that it is always. It's a different experience with me because I can be soft there.
I've seen you as I've gone through the clinic, just being present with someone that way, and just being so touched by the fact that, in a way, I was raised in church, and so I have a very kind of religious background, and I think of Jesus a lot. I'm not big on religion per se. I don't think he was either, but I do love the fact that Jesus is such a great example of how to live in terms of serving people and loving people and healing people. And I see you in that vein as you're touching. And that's what he did. He actually touched physically a lot of people. And when he touched them, they were transformed. They're healed. They were cleaned, as a leper. They were made whole. Their bleeding stopped. So there's a lot of things that just by the power of touch happened because from generating from the love and compassion for people. And that's what I sense that you've been generating with getting Matthew the permission to show up. And then you've allowed that power, the love, the compassion that's in you and from Matthew to come out into your patients' bodies and therefore transform their lives. So they're not coming in for a snap, crackle, pop adjustment. They're getting very, very thorough physiological and technical work, but then they're also getting the soulful transmission of your love and compassion and the gift of really caring for them. And you're feeling and seeing the difference with them. I'm sensing.
I think it's a privilege. It's a privilege. to be able to serve in that capacity. But I think it's also, I will really want to highlight the fact that I got there through breakthroughs in therapy. I figured that out in breakthroughs through therapy so I can show up for those people in that capacity. Tonight, my spouse and I are we're doing a staycation, right? My mom's coming in town, and then tomorrow I'm going to go to the coffee shop. And this is because of something that you taught me, and hopefully this is okay to share a piece of advice. My birthday was last week, and on my 40th birthday, when I was so hard on myself, David asked me to write myself a letter about all of the things that I was proud of. And so I did that. And it was like 2 pages. I was like, it just kept going. I was like, oh gosh, but no one's reading it but me, right? So you're not bragging. And then, and I've done that. I did that last year. And then some of my close friends have written their letters to themselves. And tomorrow, I want you to know, tomorrow I go to a coffee shop to write a letter to myself, not about what we're going to knock out next year, and because we are going to knock some stuff out next year. But that's not about what I'm doing tomorrow. Tomorrow is about taking some advice that one of my mentors gave me and putting it into action. And really stepping into the place and saying, I'm going to write myself a letter. And what's been so amazing for me and a blessing for me is that I've stumbled across that letter in different times. Like I'm on a Southwest flight to Las Vegas, probably a little hungover, and I was reading my letter and I just began to weep. And the lady next to me is like, "What? Are you good?" It's like, "Yeah, it was just really important." And so, like, thank you for that gift of just making the recommendation, because I took action on that, and I'm still taking action on that. And there are people that are in my life and in my circle that have taken action on that, and it's blessed them. So I encourage you at some point to write yourself a letter about how great you are. You don't have to read it aloud. You don't have to do a book report on it or any of that stuff, but you'll find it on a flight somewhere, and you're going to read it, and you're like, I'm special, and and you forget about that.
Well, that is amazing. I forgot about that recommendation. But what it reminds me about you is everything we talk about, you do take action on. You are an executioner of action. So we don't just talk in the work that I do. It always leads to some kind of action plan.
Got to.
Because if there's talk without action, right, we're not going to have change. And so the reason oftentimes I might look like I'm good at my job is because I have people like you, Matt, who actually bring me the material, then work it up with me, and then act on it. And so it's like having a world-class athlete, and I give a tip or two that's really not that huge, and you take it and you make a whole new game, and you start scoring at a whole new level. And then you coach others, and they start scoring. And so I think my biggest joy is that I've gotten to work with people like you who influence a lot of other people. Therefore, my work makes a bigger impact and gets out to other leaders, which then impacts all the people they impact. So as a result, exponentially, we're affecting more people in the world.
Yeah. Can we talk about how you're affecting more people in the world?
Well, if you insist.
This is David's book, The Possibility of You. And I've got some notes, and I'm going to ask to go through them if it's okay. And you should know all the content in the book.
Well, I hope so. I don't.
He tricked me. There's some things in my life that we've gone through in therapy that I just could have applied the Oasis method to, and I would have solved them a little quicker. No offense at all. And so David has had, I think the back of it said 25,000 clients, and you're having conversations, over 100,000 hours of conversations with some really successful leaders, some people that are movers and shakers, not only in our town, but in main industry. And tell me why you decided to share all of that knowledge in this book.
Well, the thing is, most of what I've learned, I have learned from the people that have come to see me. You know, you go to school, I don't know how it is. I'm sure you have to actually learn some stuff and come out of practice school, what to do. We learn a lot of theory. And so, as a result, it's really pretty useless until you know how to apply it. So in the first few years of being in practice, oftentimes I was having to figure out on the spot how to apply this theory to each individual person, whatever age they were, their personality, whether they're abstract thinking, concrete thinking, what their temperament is, how open they are, how to discern that, figure out an angle, an approach, an application of what I learned in school, right? So over the years, I started getting down a system of doing that I didn't know I was doing until I'd done it so long, it became evident. And so then I created a little acronym, which is OASIS, to kind of capitalize on it, right? Because I thought if I could teach others to do what I do in my role with them in therapy for themselves, right? Like you said, you wouldn't have had to come back nearly as much, and we wouldn't have nearly as much.
The book wasn't out yet, just so we know. It's been released, but it wasn't out when we started.
It's released on Amazon now, thank God. Finally, it's like having some child in the birth canal for 6 years. You get out of me. I mean, contractions here. But so anyway, that became a clear-cut step. It's an acronym. O for being open, A for learning how to analyze, S for learning how to sense, I for learning how to get your ideas that are intuitive to that sensing, to get the solutions that bring the shifts that we're all looking for. We're all stuck in different ways at different times in different parts of our lives, right? Either in our health, our relationships, our professions, our spirituality, our just joy of living, our self-confidence, right? Our decisiveness. We're having these times where we're in these same ruts, these same familiar places we keep coming back to that are so frustrating that keep us stuck. And it uses up a lot of our energy.
Sure.
It keeps us kind of like preoccupied. It keeps us about ourselves rather than open and available to others. And our system doesn't like that. It doesn't like that angstiness. It doesn't like that sense of being constantly in a same old ruddy, familiar hamster wheel Groundhog Day. So what the OASIS method is like a scientific method of being observant and open, so you know how to analyze what's going on more objectively, so that you can feel out what's happening, so that you can get your ideas, to get solutions, to make your shifts. We're trying to shift to better, always, to lighter, to more efficiently, to more effectively, to more enjoyably. You love the 3 E's.
Yep.
The system wants to go into efficient, effective, enjoyable zones, not angsty.
Capture that.
Right?
Efficient, effective, enjoyable. I love the 3 E's.
Don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, right? Because then you're in flow. That's that flow state. That's where you're most productive. That's where you're having your best ideas and your greatest impact.
Yeah.
Not in an angsty cluster F state, not where you're self-absorbed, not where you're down.
Right.
That's a waste of time. It's a waste of your energy, and it's a waste of what could have happened, the missed opportunity, if you'd shown up in your optimum state. So OASIS is a way, and of course that acronym is also a metaphor.
Sure.
We want to live if it's got enjoyable to it, it's got efficiency to it, if it's got effective to us, that's our OASIS. That's the place, the refuge, the peace, the beauty, the love, the kind of life we're all aspiring to live in. You and I are very fortunate that a lot of the life we live is really OASIS-ish, isn't it?
Yes.
We live OASIS. I think pretty consistently, because I can tell by how you prosper, and I can tell by your joy, and I can tell by your growth. So I kind of created a verb off of it. Are you OASing it? Right? Like acing it, right? Are you OASing it? If you're OASing it, then it's shifting with ease and efficiency and effectiveness into the next best version of yourself, the next best version of your life, and it's going from good to great. And that's what I think we're called, with the gifts we've been given, to make the most of what we've been given and bring it. Yeah. Bring it. It's to be contributed. We're here to not just live a good life for ourselves, but to take that and contribute it, and to therefore make the world that we're in a better place because we were here.
As I was just kind of prepping for today, and I was going back through OASIS method, and you can get this on Amazon, by the way. He's got all kinds of 5-star reviews. He may have a really good one from Dr. Matt Griswold.
He has a great one for sure. Thank you
page
very
20
much,
here
man.
breaks it down. But there is an instance in my life that you applied Oasis method in therapy where I had a practice that some things happened and I had to go work in another office. And it was driving by this other guy's office who I felt like had taken from me, stole from me, all the things. And it was giving me this energy, but I couldn't even see it. Wasn't able to object, and it wasn't enjoyable. And he would I remember you asking. And so I was reading back through all of the things and I put, oh my gosh, open, objective, observe your feelings. I didn't like it. Consciously analyze the information you observe to create an accurate picture of the situation. Assess how an expanded view of the situation affects your understanding of it. It felt like crap to drive by his office, right?
Yeah.
Since I changed it. I made a change. What was the change going to be for me? I stopped going there on Wednesday mornings, tightened the office up, and you know who I spent it with? My kids. I had breakfast with my kids because that energy shift for me was going to fuel me to be stronger and be able to be there versus sitting in an empty office where somebody pulled the plug on it.
Nice.
And so I just want to say, this book is a summation of some conversations that we've had. I don't even know how much it is. It's not much. It's worth it, whatever it is.
So
even if you read it as $20, even if you read it as a buffet, you just pick it up and get little pieces, because that's the way it's written. It's written as if he's talking to you. It's written, I've had the conversations, and so when I'm reading it is like you're having the conversation. I know for a fact, because I was under care while he was writing it, that every detail has been looked at. Every period was looked at, even the beautiful artwork and how the orange is just perfect. And
you're funny. Thank you, Matt. Yeah, you're talking about my OCD now. Yeah. That's what it was. Very, very painstaking to try to get it neat, organized.
Sure.
And something too that people won't be distracted by mistakes, right? So that it'll be something that you can absorb it and use it, right? Very, very pragmatic. So, but thank you for helping me share about the book. You're very kind.
Well,
bring it up.
I think it has over 75-star reviews, and I clicked on the verified purchasers, and all of them purchased and read it at least.
Oh, look at you!
I did some research.
Wow!
And so I just want to say, from the bottom of my heart, David, thank you for what you've done to affect my life, and I think I'd like to thank you in advance for all the people that are going to pick this up and it's going to affect theirs.
Wow.
I know that you poured your heart and soul, and you had a timeline and a date, and I appreciate that you achieved that. It's good when a mentee sees a mentor say, I got a finish line, and watching them cross said finish line versus like pull up early, all those things. And so, it's more than just talking, it's walking. And I appreciate you doing the walk.
Well, thank you. And what I want to tell you, I appreciate about you for going to tell me so much about me, which you're so kind to do, is all of the things that you do for all of us as your clients, setting up our cold plunges and our sweat lodges, and the doing hard things on Turkey Mountain, all the classes for breath work, and teaching us all about health so that we can live our best lives. All of this doesn't matter if we don't have health. If we don't have foundational health, which then affects our mental health. You can't have the mental health without the physical health to be able to apply the principles to have a good life. So you are working diligently to put all that together under one roof, to educate us, to test us. You've got your what's the thing called? The
hyperbaric chamber.
Hyperbaric chamber that gets me claustrophobic. Very good for oxygenation, right? Yeah. And the red light therapy, right? That electromagnetic.
We've got a lot of fun toys.
All the things that really you have researched that will support our health, which supports our mental health, which means we can apply these principles and have a rich and meaningful and contributing life. So thank you for that hard work, and thank you for sharing so much of it and giving it to us, not selling it. You've been giving so much of that to us. You're extremely generous, and I want to thank you for that.
I'll close in this. Why we get along so well is because the way I practice is I believe that you have enough. I believe you are enough, you have enough, and given the right conditions and environment, your body's going to do what it's supposed to do, whether that's the chiropractic adjustment, whether that's getting in sunlight, breathing air, whatever it is. that's also what he believes. He also believes that you are enough. And so I hope if you stumble across any of this content that it at least blesses you. Just being, come on. I really enjoyed this. Thank you so much. We'll catch you next time. Check this book out. You'll find a link somewhere. I'll make sure we drop that in our social somehow, some way. Thanks again.